Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Elena.
And this, right here, in front of your face, in your ear holes, is Morbid.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm
is
always right.
I'm always right.
Yay.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
It's Morbid in the afternoon.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, we had a morning dealing with like some dicky people.
Dealing with some fuck shit per usual.
Dealing with some fuck shit. Not any of you. Don't worry about it.
No, of course not.
It was
Never
you know,
that. Oh, sorry.
but-
I did just rip my sweatshirt string in my anger.
in my anger.
Rachel.
But yeah, we were just dealing with some fuck shit. So it's going to be Morbid in the afternoon today because we meant to do this earlier, but then we got pissed off and we were like, I don't want to do an episode pissed off.
Because my friends don't want to hear me when I'm pissed off. They want to hear me when I'm happy.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're happy because
We are happy.
Elena found a new song on TikTok
did.
by the raddest girly that's ever graced this planet.
Guys.
Her style is unmatched.
It's unmatched.
Her voice is a heathen,
A
but like
heathen.
in the best way.
Yeah.
She is.
Chinchilla music. And I
Of
think
course.
it's chinchilla_music. You might, if you are awesome, you might have already seen this sound come across your For You page on TikTok.
And you are awesome, so you probably have.
So
but
I feel like you've heard it, but if you haven't, go search it out. I'm not kidding you. This song, I think the full song doesn't come out until like April 21st, I think it is.
yeah.
But she has been like promoting it with this snippet of it. Oh my God. It will. Every time she posts it, people are like, why am I feral right now? Like, it makes you just want to go like, fuck shit up.
Like, catch us on April 21st, like, roaming
Oh
around
my
town,
God,
just screaming out the motherfucking
screaming it.
sunroof. Do you know that about
It's
me?
so good.
That I love to, like, sing out the sunroof. It's
I
my
love that
favorite
for
thing
you.
ever, but Drew gets so mad at me. Usually it's because after a couple of drinks when we're on our
Yeah.
way home from somewhere, and he's like, get your head in the sunroof, you idiot.
It's like, that's dangerous.
He would never say that to me, but, like, you know. But I want to sing this song out the sunroof.
Hell yeah. We are going to blast that song in this studio.
Every day.
We're going to we're going to fuck shit up.
You are covered in rainbows right now. In fact, may I take your photo?
Of course you can.
May I take your hat, sir? You wouldn't get that
We
because you
got
don't watch
new,
SpongeBob.
Hold on, I have to smile for a photo.
Excuse me, if you could please hold. You look so magical.
So we got
Oh my God. Wait.
or I should say, oh my God, I'm so rainbow.
Check you
Oh,
out.
and Billy's in the photo, Billy Loomis.
Of course. I'll post it.
So Mikey got these new like window clings for our skylights because our skylights are always just like a menace. They're always bathing us in a very harsh light and we're always like, ow, ow, ow. So
They're
Mikey was like,
insane.
let me fix that. And he got these clings that make rainbows all over the room when the sun hits it. And it is so wondrous and magical and whimsical, and it makes me so happy.
It's iconic.
And now even when the light is coming in harshly, it doesn't feel harsh because it's like, well, it's a rainbow.
Because it's a rainbow.
So there's
I mean,
that.
some people would be mad at that, but not me.
But not the kind of people we want to hang out with.
No.
So doesn't matter.
I'm about to go buy all the Bud Lights with the rainbows on
Like,
them.
just
I
putting it
fucking
out
love
there.
Dylan Mulvaney.
Hell yeah.
I don't even like beer, and I would literally go buy all of them.
Exactly.
The end.
So there's that.
Rainbows, chinchilla chin.
Chinchilla chin.
What was it?
Chinchilla music.
Chinchilla music.
And yeah, those are our recommendations for the day are rainbows and chinchilla music.
And Bud Light.
And Bud Light.
And Bud regular, too.
I was going to say, it doesn't have to be light, I don't think.
It's like the blue cans, though. Are those the light ones?
I don't know.
Nor do I.
Whatever, they support it. That's
Buy
all
the
we
rainbow
care about.
ones.
Just buy the rainbow ones. Why the fuck not?
What are you going to
So-
talk about today, bish?
So we've hit some gnarly ones, some gnarly cases lately, and we've also got some lined up that are going to blow your socks off.
Because
So
our anniversary is coming up.
our 5-year anniversary, and we've
5
got
years.
we got something planned.
We have a couple things planned.
And it's something a lot of people have asked for 5 full years. And Mama has been holding on to it, waiting for the right time. And this
To
is the right
shine.
time. But we've got even before that, we have some really gnarly intense,
Yeah.
pretty bleak cases, but ones that for sure need to be told.
Of course.
But we figured we would kind of do a quick little mind reset here.
Yeah.
This is still pretty gnarly, but like in a different way.
Yeah.
We wanted to do an episode about random curses.
Yay.
So,
do you ever just wake up and say, I want to hear about random curses?
You know, who doesn't? And, you know, the first one I will do has murder in it. It has ghost stories in it. It has a curse in it. It has apples in it.
It's called multifaceted. Look it up.
Yeah, but it's got several true crime elements to it, actually. And then the second one I'm going to do, because this is just going to be two random, stories that have to do with curses, is the curse of the movie The Omen, which you might have heard that there's a curse with The Omen, but when you really dig into it, that shit is wild.
Gnarly.
Yeah, super gnarly. So the first one we're going to do is the curse of Micah Rood.
Micah or Mike?
It's Micah.
Micah.
But it got turned into Mike later down the road.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what we do, you know.
That's weird.
We just make everything shorter.
I like the name Micah.
I do too. So Micah Rood, also referred to as Mike sometimes in several literatures.
Everybody has a nickname.
You know, he was a farmer in what is now Franklin, Connecticut in the 1720s.
It's my cat's name.
So New England place, you know what I'm saying? While he was alive, his farm was known as 9 Mile Square or Norwich West Farms. Micah was the youngest of at least 9 children.
Too many.
So he came from a little bit of chaos. He himself was known for at least a time to be a very nice man, but he developed some issues later that may be explained when you take a look at his family.
Oh, okay.
So Micah's father, his name was Thomas Rood. I'd like to give a quick little trigger warning. We are going to mention incest.
Oh, horrible.
Thomas Rood, so Micah's father, was charged and convicted for incest.
Oh.
He allegedly impregnated his own daughter, Sarah, and she told the town officials herself. They'd become a little sus when they saw that Sarah, being unwed in the 1720s, had a new baby. And so she was asked about it, and she confessed and admitted that the baby was biologically her father's child, and I guess technically his grandchild as well.
Oh my God, that poor, poor girl.
And this wasn't even in the 1700s. This was 1600s, late 1600s when this happened. In 1672, they arrested Thomas Rood and actually hanged him.
Good.
And hanged him for the crime of incest. And interestingly, he is the only person in America to ever be executed for the crime of incest.
Not the title you want to go down with.
Like, damn.
Wow. That's heavy.
Yeah. It was wild. And according to Stephen Gencarella, who wrote Spooky Trails in Tall Tales, Connecticut.
Oh, I like that.
He said, quote, "It was the only official execution for incest in what would become the United States. Sarah was spared death, but publicly whipped." And so they agreed that she had been raped. Like, she did not participate in incest, as most people do not. But this is what the original texts say about her sentencing, because I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, what?
It says, the sentence of the court is that she be severely whipped on the naked body, once at Hartford and once at Norwich, that others may hear and fear and do no more such abominable wickedness.
So they said, don't get raped.
Don't get raped.
Wow.
By a family member.
Wow.
Especially. Yeah. And got whipped on the naked body publicly twice. For being raped.
That's like a whole other sexual assault that she suffered.
The trauma sandwich there, I can't even handle. Like, that is... my brain won't even compute it.
Like, publicly in front of people? Yeah. Oh, my God.
So it's like, now that you've been raped and are having to deal with that, let's strip you naked in front of people and whip you.
Ah.
Yeah. So, Micah...
How did he
He got far away from that situation. He didn't want anything to do with that, that legacy. And so he decided to start over as a farmer in Franklin alone. He was like, I'm going to... Bye. So he set up his farm in 1699, and he was respected. He was moderately good at farming. I wouldn't say he was, like, stellar. I wouldn't say he was going to win any blue ribbons.
No.
You know, but like he wasn't as good as I am at keeping a houseplant alive.
It's been a couple weeks.
Which I will say I have done for a couple of weeks. And so I feel as though I can speak on this subject. as a farmer myself. No.
I planted this weekend and within 48 hours killed 2 hydrangea plants.
You know, I'm one to slaughter houseplants, but like, but I'm doing really good. And mostly because John said he doesn't think I can keep one alive. So I'm like, now I'm a challenge accepted.
I'm going to prove it to you, motherfucker.
And I'm doing good. Her name is Lisa Vanderpump and she's thriving.
Yeah.
I also have one named Rupert Giles. He is also thriving. So
Thrive
fingers
City.
crossed,
But
everybody.
Then, what's the other one?
The other one I haven't named yet because, he came to me a little worse for wear, so I'm gonna.
He though, okay.
It feels like a he.
Billy Loomis. Name it Billy Loomis.
There you go, Billy Loomis.
He's worse for wear.
He came to us a little worse for wear.
You know?
Yeah. But back to Micah. He was moderately good, like I said. He was all right.
Me too.
And he was said to be someone who helped people. He was social. He gave people food and stuff from his farm. A good dude. Someone you want to have around. That's the story you hear. But then the other story.
Oh, there's 2.
Is a bunch of people who say he was weird, strange, and mean. So either history has failed us here with a shitty game of telephone, or he just pissed off some people and they're loudly telling everybody about it.
I was going to say, maybe.
Which, I feel like that might be it.
Maybe it just depends who you ask. Like, you can't please everyone.
No, you can't. I mean, if you asked, like, about me, you'd get a lot of different viewpoints. So.
I would say, she's grand.
She's grand. But, like, I'm sure Micah is, like, dealing with the same fate. I mean, at one point, Micah, you know, he does something that, like, you really can't argue with, saying he's kind of a shitty person. But, like, we'll get there.
Okay.
So one thing that was not disputed by anyone was the fact that he may not have been the best all-around farmer or all-around human, but he had the greatest and most beautiful and thriving apple orchard in the galaxy.
The galaxy?
The galaxy.
This one?
Yup, and the next.
And the next? Oh, we don't know about that.
No, we know.
No.
We know there is not more thriving apples on another Like, it's just not possible.
I'm not putting my money on that.
His apples were juicy. They were beautiful. They were fucking huge. They were all in a neat line, all the trees, and they had white blossoms, and every fall they would all pop out and he would sell them all.
They would pop off?
They would just pop off, and everybody would just, like, lug them away because they were so giant and amazing.
Oh, I love it.
And one night in December on his farm, so everything's going great for Micah. He's just selling these apples. He's like, I may not be great at this other farming, but you better believe I can give you an apple. So one night in December, a salesman came through the area. And he was like those kind of salesmen, like the one in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I can always bring it back there.
Always.
When that salesman comes through the linen closet portal and sells Sabrina a tomorrow ball against her aunt's wishes. That one. It's just like that.
Totally.
He had everything. And he was
even tomorrow balls?
He had tomorrow balls. And he was a regular in that area. So he had sold a ton that week. And he had a lot of cash on him. So in those days, this was risky business.
Yeah.
If you just listened to our episode with Red Handed about Lavinia Fisher, you know that being a highwayman or a highway woman was like an actual thing back then. And any salesperson or merchant that was walking around with tons of cash was just like a giant bullseye on their head.
I mean,
it's risky business. So the risk of being robbed or worse was really high. But he was known there, so he felt safe. He had been there before. He somehow that night ended up like in or near Rood's farm, and no one is really sure how, but he ended up going inside the house.
Okay.
He must have been invited. Something happened.
He liked apples. He wanted to get some.
But then he went missing.
Yeah.
No one knew where he went. He never returned home. Search parties went out. And then there was a tip that came in saying that somebody had seen him in the Rood farm area. They searched the property. The salesman was found. They found him.
I can tell by the look in your eye that man was.
He was buried under an apple tree with his head shattered open and all of his money gone.
Okay, that's not quite what I was expecting, but damn.
Yeah. Of course, it's a very 1700s investigation followed.
So everybody was invited to the crime scene by hand.
Yeah, and everything was totally fine, very up to standards.
Oh, man.
Micah was definitely the prime suspect since it was his farm and he was the only one there.
That makes sense.
But he denied, and they couldn't really gather any more physical evidence other than the body being found under a tree on his property So they had to let it go for the time being.
Oh my God.
So even though this guy was found buried under an apple tree with his head smashed open.
Yeah, and all his money gone.
There was really nothing that could tie it directly to Micah.
The apples.
That's that.
It was the
there's
apples.
really nothing. So he was just kind of let go, and spring came, his trees thrived again.
Wow.
But one tree came back completely different this time around. It was the tree the body of the salesman was found under, and it came back with bright red blossoms. And remember, I said he would get these bright white blossoms everywhere. As if that wasn't strange enough, once harvest time came at the end of the summer, huge yellow apples grew. And when they were cut open, they contained a red circle in the center that looked like a stain of blood.
Do not
All
eat
of
those
them.
apples.
All the apples on that one tree had this, and no others in the orchard did.
That's strange.
Like a totally different kind of apples. And after this, so he found this and he knew. So after this, he started to lose it.
It was like the
suddenly,
telltale heart.
It is. It's very much like that. So everybody said his demeanor completely switched out of nowhere. He was depressed. He withdrew from everyone. He never came into town, and people near his farm said he would just scream late into the night alone and pace around and around all evening.
I want to start doing that, like, just to see what people do.
Just to see if people are like, she just screams at night alone.
Maybe that would be a cool legacy.
Yeah, I think it would. But he wouldn't eat or tend to his farm, and everything just completely died. He let everything go.
But that one tree.
Everything except that red apple tree.
Oh my God.
Every season it came back, even though he didn't tend to it.
Bitch.
There is a story in Legends, Lore, and Secrets of New England by Thomas D'Agostino and Arlene Nicholson. And it says he told a few townspeople that he was being haunted by a ghost. And he said that it attacked him anytime he tried to work on his farm.
Oh.
So people think it was the ghost of the salesman back for revenge. And it also says there's a story of one season, a young boy stealing apples from that red tree. And when Micah caught him, he told him to take the entire tree of apples because he was so frightened of it. And he wanted them gone. He was like, just take them all.
Wow.
And the boy was like, no, I was just like, I'm sorry, I stole one. He was like, no, I want you to take all of them. I don't want them.
Did you know
and
terrified that
the boy just
probably
ran
was?
away.
He was like, no, I'm not going to.
Yeah, it's insane. So he continued to deteriorate. And at the end of his life, the townspeople believed he had either been falsely accused of murdering the salesman, which that is a possibility.
Yeah.
And that the body had been placed under the tree by someone, the killer, to frame him, or that he had done it and lived a life of guilt being haunted.
What do you think?
I don't know, because it sounds like Micah wasn't a bad guy, so it is a little strange that he would suddenly lash out.
Right.
But I don't know. That tree was definitely the symbol of whatever had happened here. And the people of the town did come together when he became too frail to take care of himself in his old age. And they paid 2 shillings to volunteers to watch over him for 2 days at a time. So to me, it feels like the community kind of believed he didn't do it and that he was falsely accused. I don't think they would be going through this trouble if they thought he just killed a salesman in cold blood.
Yeah, they're not going to
buried
want
him
to be
under an apple tree
anywhere near him.
Yeah, so to me, I'm like, that's some good community right there.
Yeah,
especially since there is a possibility he was a brutal murderer.
Totally.
But I would love to believe he isn't. So,
I kind of believe he's not.
And he ended up dying in December of 1728, looking over that red apple tree. He was sitting in his chair looking out over it.
That's so sad.
What's crazier is that tree stood and thrived until 1938.
What?
And it was blown over by a hurricane. That's how it was finally gone. But before, it was still up, 1930s.
And people were still eating the apples?
Yeah. And people took pieces of the branches and tried to replicate the apples, but they never could. And there are some legends that say there are traces of red in some of these strains, though, and especially in the Franklin, Connecticut area.
That's so interesting.
And they would call them like Mike's apples or Micah's apples.
I want to go apple picking next year in this area
and find one of those apples.
Until I find one of those apples.
And there is a movie on Prime right now. I don't know if you can still get it on Prime, but I saw that it was on there, called The Curse of Micah Rood. And it's from 2014, and it's about this whole story.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So there is a curse in the apples. If you find the apple, I don't know exactly what happens to you, that you can't say. I think it was more Micah's curse than anybody else's. But I don't know. I want to believe I both want to believe that he was falsely accused, and I don't want to because I feel bad.
Agreed.
You know, like, it's like, that would suck if his whole life was him being, like, not a murderer, but being treated like one.
I feel like the thing would be, did he come into, like, a lot of new things after that salesman was killed? Like, did he spend the money?
That's the thing. It's like, was that the reason?
Right.
Or did he just kill this guy?
But all his money was gone. So
I know.
I'm like, that seems to be the motive.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very strange.
It is.
It makes a lot more sense to me, to be honest, that like some highwayman or highwayman found this guy on his way, robbed him, killed him, and then buried him under the tree thinking no one would find him.
Yeah, that makes more sense to me too than Micah just like randomly snapping and killing this one man who is well known in town too.
That's the other thing. And it's like, if I know Micah,
right,
I don't think he did this.
That's exactly how I feel. Like,
despite him coming from a father that was like, whoa. That was executed as the first person for getting executed for incest.
Yeah, I mean,
charges.
Some people's parents are fucking terrible, and they're great,
that's
though.
the thing.
You know,
it's like you know, and they're great.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, I don't know. That's the curse of Micah Rood and the apples. I thought it was an interesting one. It's a nice New Englandy one, which is always fun. But the next one I'm going to talk about because I want to watch this movie. Essentially, is The Omen.
You know, I've never seen it.
You should. It's a great movie. It's a really, really great horror film.
What year did it come out?
In 1976.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So
there was like a remake that came out.
Yeah, there was remakes for sure.
Yeah, one of the remakes came out when I was little, and I remember being fucking terrified of the preview and like crying about it.
I saw that remake, I think, with my ex-boyfriend in the theater.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It was good. But the original
movie,
one, no one can beat the the movie was
religious like scary movies to me are like the scariest, and you always say that too.
Yeah, I feel like that whenever you bring religion into a horror movie, it just brings an element of like uncomfortability to it, no matter what. And uncomfortability in like the best way for me. Like I love it because it scares me on a whole different level.
It's so funny because I agree with the latter part of that. It scares me on a whole different level, but to a level that I don't want to be scared on.
Oh yeah, you see, you don't like it. I love it.
And it's weird because I'm not like, I mean, we all know like neither of us are very religious at all.
I was going to say very.
But it still scares me.
Yeah, it scares me because like it usually when they use it in a horror movie, it's used in a really
fucked up way.
It's just everything that they'll do, like the scene in Hellraiser when he's in the church.
I love that scene.
And he like does the fake stigmata kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love that scene because scary. It is so uncomfortable. It's like such a wildly, I don't know what it is about it.
I don't know. I think maybe it's because I feel the same as like paranormal movies. Like it's just like it's unknown to me,
it is,
and I don't want to fuck with it.
And it's very like there's a lot to it.
Layered,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't care what you practice religious-wise. Like, I don't give a shit as long as you're not hurting anybody.
You're literally about to say the same thing.
That's how I feel. Like, so that this isn't to be, like, you know, a knock on religion.
Not at all.
I literally don't give a shit. But because I'm not religious, I think it does make me uncomfortable in, like, a scary way when I watch it.
I don't know what it is. It freaks me the fuck out.
Also, did anyone see Ghost release an EP?
Of course I did, because I essentially live with you.
And it was so good.
The whole like story that you were telling me, like behind the video that they released.
Yeah, it was like
cool.
Yeah, they did. Go watch the video because it's wild.
Ghost fans.
But Ghost fans go watch the video, like everyone else don't. But I'm just kidding. But they did a cover of Genesis, like Phil Collins of Genesis, Jesus He Knows Me. It's a great cover. And I think they have like a whole EP of covers coming out in May, I want to say.
Covers.
But it goes with the video, and they released it on Easter, and it was just like a really good cover. And the video is like really wild.
I love that.
So it was a nice little Easter treat, and it kind of goes along with all this like religious talk. So there we are. So The Omen, let's talk about it. Because it definitely has some like, you know, Satan and all that and the Antichrist things in it. It was, like I said, came out in 1976. It's directed by Richard Donner, and it was written by David Seltzer. The Omen is pretty fucked and is a classically terrifying and disturbing horror flick. It's one of those masterpieces of horror.
Ooh.
Just the way it is done, in my opinion, I'll say. But it starts out with a guy named Robert Thorne, who's played by Gregory Peck, and his wife, Catherine Thorne, played by Lee Remick. They're in Rome and about to give birth to a little boy when things go horribly wrong, and the baby is actually born deceased.
Oh.
So obviously Robert is distraught, and he has to be the one to tell his wife this.
Oh,
she
God.
doesn't know. But before he can do that, the hospital chaplain comes in and is like, hey, a baby has just been born a few doors down, and the mother died during childbirth. He's like,
I'll take it.
you should just take this baby and just tell your wife it's yours. Easy peasy. Like, nothing can go wrong with this. I think
That's
this
why
will be
this all
fine.
went wrong. That's fucked.
Truly.
That's called kidnapping, and it's a crime.
And I love it because Robert's like, that sounds great. What luck. Like, he's just like, all right, let's go.
Men.
And he does. And they name this boy Damien and Jesus. They don't name him Jesus. I mean, like, and I
Damien
say,
and
like,
also Jesus.
I'm saying, like, whoa, Jesus. And I say Jesus with, like, a G-E-E-Z-U-S, just in case you're wondering. But as this Damien kid grows up, shit goes awry.
Yeah.
Lots of bad stuff happens to this family. People die horrifically. Their nanny literally hangs herself during his 5th birthday.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Damien, we find out, is the actual Antichrist. Oops.
For some reason, the term Antichrist to me is hilarious.
Well, I think of it in Donnie Darko when he's like, I think you're the fucking Antichrist.
Same. So I have 2 thoughts. We're going down a path here. I think
Yeah.
of Donnie Darko with that whole scene, which makes me lol.
Yeah.
And then I also think of the anti-fairies from Fairly Odd Parents, which you won't understand, but
Yeah.
other people will.
Yeah.
And then, like, now that you think of that, you're like, oh, wow, like, they were definitely inspired by the Antichrist, and that's
You're like,
hilarious.
oh, shit. And it's just like a wild term.
The Antichrist.
The Antichrist. Like, okay. And it's like that Damien is the Antichrist. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, I don't understand.
Or Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. And apparently, like, they tell you what it means because, like, they're like, oh, no, Damien is the Antichrist. Like, oopsie poopsie.
Oopsie poopsie.
I don't know what to tell you.
Oopsie
And
doopsie.
a priest close to the family, Father Brennan, is like, yeah, he's the son of Satan. So that bold move you took in the hospital there, like, that wasn't a good move.
So
like,
are we
that
to
did not work
believe
out.
that woman fucked the devil?
Well, thank you, because that's the thing. That would make the most sense. That you know what? I'm not going to give spoilers right now. I'm not going to give spoilers right now, but watch the movie. You'll get the answer.
Me?
And it's wild.
You want to watch it together?
Yeah, I think we should watch it because, hoo boy,
Oh, no.
is all I'm going to say. But yeah, so, he's the Antichrist, son of Satan.
Okay.
Oopsie poopsie.
Yeah,
You
we
got the wrong
fucked up.
kid. But then Catherine
The mom.
becomes pregnant.
Again?
Yeah. And the priest ups the bad shit level when this happens and says, oh yeah, since Damien is the son of Satan, he's going to be hell-bent, pun intended, on murdering that unborn fetus and both of you. So you got to kill him, but I'll like 100% look the other way. Like this priest is like, don't fucking worry.
I'd be like, can you kill him for me?
And Father Brennan's like, no, I cannot, but I will absolutely not report you to authorities.
Oh my God.
So shit goes down. Again, I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen it. It was from 1976, so you have had the time to see it.
Plenty of time.
I would be very justified in spoiling, but I love you all so much that I won't do it to you, okay?
Yeah.
Watch it. It's nuts. So many more twisties, but we're not here just to talk about the movie plot. We're here to talk about curses on the set. So let's go. So obviously, it involves a lot of really dark shit. This movie plot, all of that. Very like historically dark shit.
Yeah.
Satan, demons,
Murder.
Antichrist, dark religious topics, and all the like. So right away, everyone making this film was like a little weary that they may be messing with some forces that like could potentially be dangerous.
So that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
I would feel that way a bit.
I wouldn't.
No, I know you wouldn't,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I wouldn't feel that way. I know you wouldn't.
No, I know you wouldn't.
But I know you would.
Yeah, but it's weird because I don't believe wholeheartedly in any of that.
Yeah.
But like, a little piece of me would be like, I'm not, my whole goal in life is to not fuck around to find out.
You know, I think that's a very smart way of going about life,
I'd like
be quite honest.
Find out certain things, but I'm not going to fuck around to find them out.
Honestly, I'm smart.
Thanks.
Very smart. I'm fully on board with that way of thinking.
Too many inexplicable things can happen in the world, and I'm not trying to figure it out like that.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
There is.
But a lot did go on
really
during this. So an advertising exec and an evangelical Christian named Robert Munger was the one who helped birth the idea of this child Antichrist. He had said to producer Harvey Bernhard that he believed the Antichrist was walking around in the form of a child because that would be the thing no one would expect.
He really believed that to be true.
He believed that to be true. I beg to differ this, as do all parents, I'm sure, because, like, no one's going to expect a child to be the Antichrist.
I think everyone's going to expect that.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Yeah. So I get it, but whatever. So this idea, is obviously pretty fucking terrifying, like at its core. And it's also pretty brilliant as like in a horror sense.
Pretty metal.
To have a child walking around as the Antichrist. So they started working with it. They're like, what an idea. Some religious ideas in the film were created and not taken directly from the Bible, like the idea that the Antichrist is the son of Satan himself. I don't know what he actually is, but I guess that's not what the Bible says.
Okay.
David Seltzer created that idea for the movie, but it really does work really well. That's the son of Satan. That's way scarier to people. You hear the son of Satan, it's like that works. Like, you know what you're coming with here. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they made up a lot of that stuff, but people think that it's these kind of changes that angered something dark. Oh. Like the real Antichrist was like, that's not my authorized bio. Like, why are you doing that?
Maybe.
Spreading heinous lies. But then here's my thinking. I'm like, well, why would the Antichrist give a shit, first of all, that you're not going by the Bible? Like,
I don't think
that would bother him. So I'm like, what are the dark forces that are mad that you're not going by the Bible? Like, that gets a little hairy. No. That gets a little hairy scary.
No comment.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like another side would be angrier that you're not going by the Bible. But again, I don't know. I don't know if there's pieces of the Bible that would turn that on its head, I
don't know much about the Bible.
No?
Nor.
But before he even got the film started or greenlit, he pitched it by telling producer Harvey Bernhard that he believed the devil didn't want them to make the film, which seems like a pretty bold pitch to me.
Wait. The guy who like made this whole idea up said the devil doesn't want to do this?
Yeah, like he was like, I'm pretty sure the devil doesn't want us to make this film.
The devil doesn't want screen time?
Which I don't, and I'm not saying it's a bad pitch, because I don't believe that's a bad pitch. I think it's a bold pitch. That's one of those like risky, I gotta hit the right person with this pitch, because you're being like, hey, I'm pretty sure that the devil himself does not want us to make this film. It's like you're going to get some person that's like, oh, fuck
then we
off
shouldn't.
Then. And you're going to get somebody else who's going to go, and they're going to be like, let's make this film. And you're all going to do like devil horns together and rock out.
So I think I would be the former and you would be the latter.
I would just pull out an electric guitar and just shred.
Literally, like hovering above the land.
But yeah, he got someone to be that did the dare.
One more time for the people in the back.
They do that on Last Podcast on the Left, like whenever.
Oh, yeah,
whenever they'll say something like super metal, they're always like
shout out.
Shout out to Last Podcast on the Left. One of the first podcasts I ever listened to.
Yeah, remember when we went to their live show?
Yeah, that was great.
That was fun. I got vertigo.
You guys are funny.
But it was great.
But later in interviews, they both repeat this idea. Like they tell this story and that this was a true story, that he pitched it that way, that they were like, yes. And Munger is quoted as saying, I said, if you make this movie, you're going to have some problems. If the devil's greatest single weapon is to be invisible, and you're going to do something which is going to take away his invisibility to millions of people, he's not going to want that to happen. So the devil is invisible, I guess.
Okay, that's what I took away from that.
So Bernhard recalled the devil was at work and he didn't want that film made. So here's where I sit. Again, I'm going to keep telling you where I sit from here.
Please do.
Imagine the devil, like if that is an actual thing, which like, I don't, I don't know. But imagine him, what the iconic that we think he is, like that, whatever we see him as,
with like the horse feet
and all that. Imagine him being so mad about a Hollywood horror movie.
See, so here's where I'm at. I picture the devil like the one in Sabrina, but like the new Sabrina. Did you get to that season where like
sure did?
He's like,
yep, Mikey
like
is
kind
with
of
me right
sexy.
now because Mikey just fanned himself.
That man made me question so many things about my identity. Anyways,
yeah,
I pictured that devil, and I forgot where I was going because I started thinking about him too much.
I'm sorry, are we just picturing that devil right now? Is that all we're doing?
Here's where I was going with that. I picture that handsome man,
that handsome devil,
and I would think that devil would want the PR.
Thank you. That's kind of what I don't see him being pissed.
No.
Like, that's just me.
Because people are also going to be fucking terrified. And isn't that the devil's whole thing, is like terrifying people?
That's the thing. I'm like, I feel like that's kind of like his shtick. And oh my God, I'm looking at the devil now.
Now, also, all I can
looking
think
at the
about...
Sabrina the Teenage Witch one. I had to refresh Mama Marie.
I'm looking at the devil.
Just looking at the devil right now. Yeah, if it's that one, he would definitely be down for it. But I don't.
Down for what?
I don't down for what you say. No, I don't know. But then when I think about it, I'm like, that's my interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a vast number of, and Mikey's bringing up pictures of the devil, of that devil, the one from Sabrina, and
it's getting so much hotter in this
elsewhere. It's because I can't. But they call him Daddy Satan. But yeah, watch that show, by the way. That's a great show.
Also, now all I
R.I.P.
can...
to that show.
I know, what the fuck? All I can hear in my head right now is that Jack Black song where it's like...
Oh my God, the Tenacious D song.
Does that stand for devil? Tenacious Devil?
I have no idea. But either way, I was going to say, there's several different ways to interpret the devil, whether he exists, how he exists, who he is, what his beliefs are, what his motivation is, what his personality is. This is just mine. You probably do have a different interpretation because we're all different here.
And that's okay.
And maybe your devil that you're thinking of, I mean, and it doesn't have to be your devil, just the devil you think about.
Doesn't want the
maybe
PR.
Maybe he doesn't want the PR. Maybe he does want to be invisible. So I think my idea of is that he wouldn't give a shit about a Hollywood horror film. I feel like that's small potatoes to a demon.
To the devil TM.
But maybe your demon does. So I'm not here to stomp on your idea here, but that's just how I feel.
We digress.
So filming is about to begin in London, and the cast is heading onto set, and shit already is going really awry. And this is the part where when you enter into this, you're like, okay, yeah, curse like the devil. What are you talking about? Shut up. But then when you hear the shit that happened, you're like, what was going on there? Because it's a lot.
So I've heard like some of the things that I know are definitely not man-made accidents. Do you think any of these accidents were man-made to like add to the hype?
Honestly, I don't know if I can come up with one that is man-made. A lot of these are too big and too out of everyone's hands.
Okay.
For them to happen, and you'll see why. So Gregory Peck was on his way into London to begin filming, and the plane he was on was struck by lightning.
So that's not man-made.
No. And now I looked into it, and according to Scientific American, each airplane in the U.S. commercial air fleet is struck by lightning at least once a year.
Remember when it happened to Miley Cyrus?
It did. Now, usually these strikes are light and not really noticed that much. Don't do a bunch of damage. They used to, but they definitely don't anymore. It happens once a year to each plane on average, but December 8th, 1963, a commercial airliner crashed as a direct result of being struck by lightning.
Oh, that's terrifying.
That was in 63, remember, before they put in a bunch of different shit, which I will talk about, that has made that so it won't happen again usually. But it was Pan American World Airways Flight 214, and it was a Boeing 707. The flight was going from San Juan, Puerto Rico to Baltimore, Maryland, and then it was taking off from Maryland and going to Philadelphia. So the plane took off from Puerto Rico, got to Baltimore. Then as it was going from Baltimore to Philadelphia, the plane exploded and went down with 73 passengers and 8 crew members on board.
Oh my God.
And the last words they heard over the black box was Mayday, 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 Clipper 214 out of control. Here we go.
Ooh.
Isn't that like the most chilling?
Here we go. Why the fuck would you say that?
Now everyone on board perished. This was directly due to lightning strikes, and it ignited the fuel tank, and that's why it exploded. After this, though, so don't worry, after this, planes were ordered to install lightning discharge wicks, or static dischargers, on all planes in the U.S. This basically, what these are they're on the wings, and they allow the excess electrons of built-up static energy to have a pathway back into the atmosphere, so they don't build up and say ignite a plane's fuel tank. Like they get shot out into the atmosphere.
Oh
so it's like a way to like ground it and send it somewhere else, kind of thing. And they work. Okay. Like they've tested them out. They work. That's how it works.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So just wanted to like detour on that because whoa,
scary.
So shortly after this, within days, writer David Seltzer's plane also was hit by lightning. He said it was the roughest 5 minutes I've ever had on an airliner. I am self-flagellating my fear of flying, but
you usually are.
This is all in the name of content for you because I love you.
Wow.
So
if you've ever doubted
doing it. Right after this, producer Mace Newfield, I think it is, Newfield.
What a cool name, Mace.
Also in the plane headed to production, and his plane was struck by lightning.
What?
Come on.
That's insane.
3 planes were struck by lightning.
And you said it only happens to one plane per year. It happens
once on average a year.
No.
So Harvey Bernhard was almost struck by lightning while standing on the ground while filming on location in Rome once production began.
Too much lightning.
Yeah. And it was literally right next to him.
See, that's why.
These are a little weird.
Like, how do you not think, like, something had to have been at work here?
Something, yeah.
Right? Like, don't you believe that?
That's like smiting.
But like
I smite you with these.
Like you believe that something was at work, right?
Something weird is happening here. I don't know what. I can't put my little finger on it. But
no.
But you know, something is wrong here.
I believe a lot in energy.
There you go. So it's bad energy. Maybe that's what it is.
You're talking about like a whole ass kid being born.
That's a whole ass kid.
Like gonna kill the mom. I'm gonna kill my mom. I'm gonna kill my dad.
That's him.
My God.
That's literally him. That's Damien.
Sit down and have a juice box, bud.
Yeah, and you know. It did have some bad energy going into production because they were immediately setting this up as like the devil doesn't want this. So they were setting the bad energy from the start.
Yeah, not manifesting properly.
Now, Harvey Bernhard was so stressed that he began wearing a crucifix on set.
I might also do the same.
I would not. But he said...
Helena's like upside down, maybe.
But he said, quote, I wasn't about to take any chances, which I get. The devil was at work and he didn't want that film made. We were dealing in areas we didn't know about. And later on in the picture, it got worse, and worse.
Oh my God.
So like, I get it. You know, like, you're not going to take any chances. You might as well throw a crucifix around your neck.
It's crazy that this movie like
happened.
Was completed.
Yeah. I know. There was a private plane that was rented for production because they were using it for like overhead scenes.
Sure.
And during production, like during filming, somebody else rented this plane. Like they chartered it while they weren't using it. Upon takeoff, the engine was hit by a flock of birds, caused the engines to fail, and the plane crashed onto the end of the runway, skidded into the road, and hit a car.
Oh my God.
Everyone on board and in the car was killed. Yeah. This is true. This much is true. But in some sources, and I don't know if this is true. I can't verify this. It's just in some sources.
Sure.
They say the car was carrying the pilot's wife and 2 children.
I think
hope that is
not. That's
way too over the top.
Yeah.
They do cite it in some sources, but I want to be clear, I found nothing to verify this.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes
but you will read that in some sources. That's why I want to let you know, like, I couldn't find something to verify it. If you can, then that's even worse. And
if you can't, I'm like, you know, like it's already bad enough that everybody on board died and everyone in the car died. You don't need to make it worse.
Thank you, because I'm literally like, you don't need to make that like scarier and more traumatizing. Like people die.
Yeah, like I'm already upset.
Yeah, I'm upset. So that happened.
Holy shit.
Apparently, I think it was Peck who was supposed to be renting one of the planes too. And it might have been that actual plane, and he ended up not renting it that day or using it that day to do something, and it crashed.
Wow.
And he was supposed to be on it. There was also an animal trainer who was on set because there's a scene with Rottweilers where Peck's character is chased and attacked in a cemetery by really angry, vicious dogs. Hellhounds, if you will. But the dogs, the Rottweilers, attacked the stuntman for real, and they wouldn't stop.
Oh my God.
And they bit through the paddings and ignored the handlers and the animal trainer. And I guess the stuntman ended up being okay, but he suffered actual injuries from it.
Wow.
And it was very unlike these dogs to not listen to the handlers and the trainer.
Yeah. Were they okay?
They were okay.
Okay, good.
So Richard Donner was leaving Harvey Bernhard's office. Something else happens to the animal trainer, by the way. We'll get to it. But he was leaving Bernhard's office after a meeting, and he was hit by a car.
Oh my God.
He was okay, but like, what the fuck? He was hit by a car.
Do you know how long this production was? Like how long it took?
No, I don't know exactly how long it took, but it happened quick.
I'm going to try to find out because I'm like, all of these things are happening? Like, was this a couple months?
Exactly. An executive producer, Mace, there was staying at the London Hilton with his wife while filming, and it was bombed by the IRA.
What?
And on November 12th, they were all there, executive producers, directors, actors, all of them were having some kind of dinner at some restaurant, and that restaurant was bombed by the IRA minutes before they arrived.
Oh my God. This is over an 11-week period.
I was going to say, it was quick.
11 weeks.
All crammed into this period.
Oh my God.
And now there's a scene, speaking of the animal trainer, there's a scene in the movie where they go to a zoo, and Damien's presence, just his presence there, makes all the animals like go crazy. They're all screaming, they're flipping out.
That stresses me out.
It's a really haunting and very scary scene.
Yeah,
it's
it sounds
really
like
good.
it.
And they come across a group of baboons, and the baboons freak the fuck out when they see Damien. And he's just smiling at them. It's so scary.
Ugh.
And so the baboons attack the car they're in, that they're driving through.
Yeah.
And according to Richard Donner, Lee Remick, who played the mom, was legitimately terrified while filming this sequence. So her screams and the fear you see are very real. And they're what's in the final shot of the film. So they used that animal trainer for these shots as well, and everything was fine. But the next day, that animal trainer was killed by tigers.
What the fuck?
Bernhard later said he was killed the day after we shot there. He was killed by a tiger. He grabbed him by the head and killed him instantly.
Oh my God.
Like, what the fuck?
And too many freak accidents.
And what's even worse is it didn't end after filming. So special effects supervisor John Richardson was responsible for a really infamous scene. It's a decapitation scene in the movie. This man is like really brutally beheaded by a sheet of glass sliding off the back of a truck. It's very Final Destination-esque.
Yeah.
It's really brutal. Well, John Richardson was in Holland with his girlfriend Liz Moore on August 13th, 1976. They were filming Richard Attenborough's A Bridge Too Far, and their car crashed. He survived, very injured, but she was decapitated.
Stop.
Now, really quickly, just because like I looked into Liz, the girlfriend, the victim here, she was a really talented and really respected painter and sculptor. She designed and sculpted Star Child in Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, wow.
The nude furniture in A Clockwork Orange. The C-3PO suit in Star Wars.
Oh my God.
And worked with another artist named Brian Muir, I think it is, to create the finalized version of the Stormtrooper helmets.
Holy shit.
She was only 32 years old when she was killed.
Wow. Imagine
And she did
what
all
she
that
could have
shit.
gone on to do.
And killed by decapitation.
That's terrifying.
Now, allegedly, according to reports, he said he escaped from the vehicle and he saw a signpost, they were in Holland, pointing to the nearest town. And it was the town's name was Omen. And it was Ommen.
Stop.
And according to him, the kilometer marker where this was 66.6.
I don't know what to say to that.
Another crew member, a stunt person named Alf Joint, also went from working on stunts and working on like the Omen. He went to the Richard Attenborough's A Bridge Too Far too. So they both went over to that. He had an accident almost immediately as well. He was supposed to be filmed jumping off a roof, and he would land on some kind of like airbag, obviously. Right. He fell from the roof really strangely, according to all witnesses, and somehow missed the airbag. He ended up critical in the hospital. Luckily, he did recover, but when he woke up, he said everyone said he was absolutely adamant. He said, I was pushed off that roof.
Ooh, I just got all the motherfucking chills.
And the way he fell, everyone was like, that was not a stuntman fall. Like, that wasn't a stuntman fall. He was awkward. It was like he wasn't ready for it.
But he was like
someone had pushed him and he wasn't ready to do an actual fall. Like a safe fall.
Oh, no.
They said it was like super awkward and strange how he fell. And he was like, I was 100% pushed. I felt it. And he's like,
he was
that's
up there
why
alone?
it looked that way. Yeah.
Fuck that.
No,
Fuck that.
And to end it all out, the kid who played Damon, Harvey Stevens, he disappeared for years after.
He's a terrifying looking child.
And the crew of the documentary about this curse had to hire a private detective to search him down because they thought he was dead or missing.
What?
Then when they talk to him, he won't speak about the curse. Literally will not say a word. You can't get him to open up about it.
What?
Yeah. Which I'm like, is that like, what is that? Could that be that you are like playing into it? Because like, good on you. I would play the fuck into that if I could, but like, damn.
I would not play into that.
Like,
ever.
why it's so like,
no.
Because look, we're talking about it.
Well, yeah, but
have people being like, what is going on?
Oh, fuck, dude.
That's why I say a lot of those are not like man-made things. They're like bombings of the IRA. They're like planes crashing. They're lightning hitting planes. There's people getting in like weird, strange accidents.
Like, yeah, sure, there are coincidences, but not that many.
And that's the thing. A lot of the people involved in this production were like, yeah, in the beginning, when you like hear about it, you're like,
sure.
Yeah, okay. Like you can kind of explain away some things, but they're like, as it goes, you just stop being able to explain. Like, how can you have that much bad luck?
I'm not well, bitch.
I am not well, bitch. But I think it's an interesting... I love a cursed movie set.
Actually, Shudder for a while had like a whole series on cursed movies. Yeah.
There's a lot of them. There's like Rosemary's Baby. There's Poltergeist. There's
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist. And again, a lot of them are like religion or like, Satan-based kind of thing. But I think it's one of those things. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, religion is one of the oldest things in the world. You know, like so. It's like maybe you're just messing with energy. Maybe it doesn't even necessarily have to do with like the devil and stuff like that. It's like this. You're messing with something ancient that you don't understand.
An ancient force
that none of us understand.
Maybe
like maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know. Who am I?
I feel like I'm going to be very creeped out the next couple days. Whenever we talk yeah, I know, me too. Because I love that feeling, but like I also hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, the end of my hallway is going to freak me out. Lately, I've been freaked out by the end of my hallway.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You might want to like clear that.
Yeah.
Clear that out.
Yeah, it's my spare bedroom too. So.
Oh, yeah. Clear that out.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't want that being funky.
I think it's just because, honestly, there's a lot of laundry in there. Then that's bad energy.
You're like, I just don't want to fold it. So that's the bad energy. No, that's why I'm freaked out.
It's dirty laundry. It's like a couple of hampers full of laundry that I need to get done. So maybe that's it.
That would freak me out too.
I fucking hate laundry.
Yeah, that's wow.
It's bad vibes.
That's bad vibes.
It's bad stinky vibes.
It's bad stinky vibes.
Oh man, creepy.
We love a haunted movie, which these are and there's a lot of actual death involved here, so it's
true crime.
It's got the true crimey element.
We should make this a series, and like if you guys know of any cursed movies that you want us to look into,
like cursed movies, cursed TV shows, cursed Broadway shows,
cursed productions.
There you go, because that might be kind of fun to look into.
Totally, I love a good curse.
Every once in a while, we need a little.
I don't want to be cursed.
No, I also don't.
I like to look into a curse.
But they are very
Let me speak clearly with intent.
Yeah. Give the universe the right words.
Yeah.
But right. And go listen to Ghost's new, cover single. Because it's great.
I heard it.
You're going to hear it a lot. So,
what?
So there you go. But yeah, I hope everybody had a good weekend and watched The Omen.
And we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
keep it weird. But not so weird that you're the Antichrist. Or maybe do keep it that weird. Just up to your preference.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, man.
Keep it that weird.
Keep it your kind of weird.
Hey-o.
Don't hurt people.